Warning, this podcast contains more wasted bullets.
Fucking hell. Hello everyone, and welcome to the ASOTV podcast for The Walking Dead, Season 8, Episode 3, Monsters. I'm your host, Clio, and with me I have Dom and John.
How's it going?
Yeah. Yeah, so this episode started off with Ezekiel giving this, awesome, prep speech or whatever, and there's like, cool, we're getting back to what The Walking Dead is about, like making plans, being like badasses, and then they get into a shootout, and I'm like, oh great. And then we cut back to Rick's group, and they're still shooting. How do they not run out of bullets?
3 episodes long.
They're still I'm just like, it's 3 episodes full of shooting, yes.
Yeah.
But Rick's group outside that compound, they have been shooting for 2 episodes.
Yeah.
That is the same scenario. And I'm just like, how are you still have bullets? Oh God, I was just like, I'm sick
Believe
of
me, we're not the
bullets.
only ones. We're not the only ones complaining about this. I've had some of my
machine guns away.
Some of my friends on Facebook. One of my friends actually just posted yesterday. They're like, do people still watch The Walking Dead?
There was so much promise. There was so much hope in that first episode. It's been 3 episodes of fucking shooting, like it's a fucking Call of Duty game. I'm sorry. I'm just. I shouldn't be as mad as I am about it.
Yeah.
Well, it's not only that, but they keep doing this really annoying, like, freshman year film student thing, where it's like they show part of the end of the episode in the beginning and intersperse it with like the speech, and they got to stop doing that. Like with Ezekiel this episode, it's like, show the speech later, then show him in a gunfight from earlier that day. It's like, well, he didn't die.
Well, no, it's the other way around. That speech was before they executed their plan. So they were showing the speech, and then they were showing them executing their plan
vice versa.
in the near future. But yeah, no, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
It's like really, it's getting old. Like they've been doing that for 3 episodes now.
My friend on Facebook, she goes, there's too many people now. I could care less if anyone from the beginning dies anymore. They've had a gun battle for the last 2 episodes. How many bullets do you have?
I know.
So we're not the only ones complaining about it, so that actually, when I read that on her Facebook today, I was like, that's a little refreshing, because I'm glad we're not the only ones feeling that.
Yeah. Because one of the things that's always been present in The Walking Dead is, having your shit. So, like, conserving your food, your ammo, whatever you got.
Mm-hmm.
Conserving it, because it's going to run out and you're going to be boned. And now they're just shooting bullets for 2 episodes straight. And I'm like...
Well, no, there's ammo boxes on the ground, and when you walk over them, it reloads your gun.
Shut up.
Oh, it's like Doom.
Yeah.
It's turned to Call of Duty. I'm like, I don't understand.
And when you chainsaw somebody, lots of bullets come out.
Call of Duty, to be fair, doesn't have bullets on the ground. Doom.
Okay,
Doom
whatever. I don't know. I picked the most generic shooter I could think of.
But our friend Michelle, who actually does some of the podcasts with us, she's actually commented on this same friend's post. Because Michelle's on Game of Thrones and some other ones. I think she used to be on Walking Dead with us.
Yeah, they used to be on.
Yeah.
She said, it got stale. Same story, different governor. She's not exactly wrong. I mean, it's a little more intense governor, but I understand what she means.
Mm.
I mean, Negan could be so compelling.
Thankfully, I didn't see it this episode.
Huh?
Thankfully, I just didn't see him this episode.
Yeah.
So.
But he's really, as much as I hated the governor, he was interesting. Like, I don't think Negan's interesting.
I personally like Negan way more than the governor.
It's not about I hate them both.
Hey, let's give him a backstory episode. That'll smooth things over.
Oh no! As long as it's not 2 episodes in a row, as long as something else the fuck happens, maybe I'll be okay with that.
It's gonna be the next 4 episodes after the bullets have run out.
No,
Yeah.
don't.
It should be called The Day That Bullets Died.
Walking Dead creators, please don't do that to me. I have to watch your show for this show. Don't do that to me.
Don't do me like that.
Don't do me like that. I'm probably giving it more shit than it deserves, but it's just...
On the other hand, I really don't think it's as bad as everybody's saying. Yes, we have some gripes with it, but I don't think it's like turned into like this awful show or anything like that. It's still very interesting and watchable. There's nothing like, oh my god, I hate watching it. It's just what's going on at the moment is not the most interesting to me. You know, I will say it's way more interesting than almost anything that happened last season, with the exception of the premiere. But, you know, that doesn't mean it's good. You know, so I'm willing to give it time.
I don't even know if I can say that, because I think my problem is, if I didn't do this podcast, I would not be watching this show. It does not have the draw power for me anymore. At all.
It would probably be a show that I put away for a little while and came back to when I could binge watch it, kind of deal. Maybe. You know?
I would probably make it more bearable if it was like Netflix style.
Yeah.
Power through it.
But I just think that, and you're right, I do believe this is more interesting than last season, minus all of the gunfights. But all of the problems from last season that I thought that they were gonna address and move past, it seems like we have not moved past them yet. So it's just still lingering for me, all those feelings from watching last season.
Well, I mean,
now I have the cranberries stuck in my head.
Did he die though? Okay, because I watched that 3 times.
He did.
He was a walker.
He did. He walked away.
That walker didn't look like that. He wasn't wearing what Eric was wearing.
Yeah, it was him.
And the guy who comes up to Aaron, I mean, I guess you could assume he says that's not him.
I thought it was him because he had the thing tied around his waist.
He didn't. I went back. He didn't. It looked like he was wearing a suit jacket and trousers.
Well, I doubt he just got up and walked away, so there's a lot of blood on that tree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
I mean, on the
question.
Talking Dead, they made it seem like that was him and that he died, but, you know.
Well, he had to change of clothes. He didn't want to die filthy in blood, so.
I don't know. He was so far in the distance, it was really hard to tell anyway, so.
Yeah, and I think... you know what? I don't know, because...
But you could be right, because what is our rule with this show?
If you don't see it...
Any proof.
Didn't happen.
It really didn't look... And I went back 3 times, I still couldn't tell.
Yeah.
I didn't go back. I just was like, oh, he died. Too bad they gave him lines.
I mean, yeah, that's right. Exactly. And that's what I assumed, too. That was the first time I watched that scene. I assumed that Walker was him. Yeah. But because the other guy comes up to him and he's like, "That's not him. We gotta go." You know, like I don't know.
And then what's the solution to that problem, Aaron? Aaron, do you want this baby?
That's what I was like. I was like, "Did
Gloria.
you not give this grieving man a baby?"
I was really confused for a minute because I was like, why did he say Judith's name was Gloria? And then I was like, oh, wait.
No, Gracie.
The crib. Or Gracie. Yeah, Gracie. That's what it was. I was like, oh, yeah, the crib. This is the baby from the compound. And I was like, okay, never mind. I'm good. But I had a moment where I was just like, I'm really confused. But, yeah.
I had a moment where I thought they were going to leave the baby there.
Well, maybe we should just talk about Rick and Daryl, because that was part of the episode I actually liked.
Yeah.
A lot. Because Daryl is the realest motherfucker here.
Just shoots him.
He's like, I know who he was. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. He had a gun to your head.
I thought Morales was going to last a lot longer. You know, like the way they made it seem last episode that he was going to be like a major character. He lasted
or at least
10
last
minutes.
more than 5 minutes.
10 minutes
Was it
spanned
even 5
between
minutes?
both episodes, I'd say.
Yeah, maybe 5 minutes in each episode.
Yeah.
Not a lot. Not a lot of screen time there, Chief.
No, none at all.
But that cliffhanger last time, they made it seem like he was going to be a big part.
Or at least it made it seem like it was going to be more important. Because at this point, now that he's dead, I don't think that he's going to ever come up again.
No.
And I'm okay with that.
The crossbow went through his head, so he can't even come back as a zombie.
Yeah.
I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
I thought it was as funny as when Indiana Jones shot that karate dude in the head.
Oh my god.
Like, that's what I thought of. I was just like, oh, well, that's handled. All right. Cool. Moving on.
Yeah, because like right before that, Rick and Morales just have this whole like discussion about like what's happened.
Yeah.
And then he just dies.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, yeah, okay, Rick, you spent your time trying to convince a dead man that you're not a monster.
Well, it's interesting because they keep finding ways to say this in the show, like to reinforce the fact that like Rick's done terrible things. Like these characters keep popping up to remind him of that fact. Mm-hmm. But like, we know. So I'm glad he's dead because maybe that'll tell the rest of the cast. Stop fucking talking about this. Okay?
Yeah.
Daryl's gonna shoot you in the back of the head.
Well, it seems like Daryl and Rick are going down a different path. Like they're Daryl's just like shoot first, worry about it later. And Rick is like, no, I want questions, answers. My word, I give you my word. That's all the this means. With the guy out in the courtyard later. What's a man
Rick
without his word? Rick kept his word, but Daryl didn't
say shit.
No, exactly.
And Rick seemed to like he seemed to have a problem with it, but he didn't speak up. You know what I mean?
No. Because up until just now, I mean, he was he didn't. To be fair, he didn't shoot the guy at the gas station.
No, he didn't. He shot over his head.
He shot over his head.
But like he started to do a little talk back with Daryl when Daryl shot Morales.
Yeah.
But that's because
they knew him.
The three of them had a history together. Mm-hmm. This other guy, Rick, seemed like he wanted to say something, but he's got no reason to defend that guy. So he didn't get into it with Daryl. But this is something that's going to come up. I see Rick versus Daryl coming up, not too far in the future.
Well, I mean, I think there's Daryl, and then there's like Jesus.
Yeah, but like Jesus on his own little side story right now with Maggie, that's going on with that end. But like for Rick's group right now, this is throwing me back to the disputes between Rick and Shane. That they had earlier on in the first couple seasons.
And Rick and Daryl have always been on the same page.
Always. And so Shane and Rick were too for a very long time.
I don't know if you call
I'm
6
talking
episodes a very long time.
I'm talking about prior to.
Okay, yes, their entire time on the force.
Yeah, they were on the same page because that was something that they discussed. It's like they've always been good friends, and it was around the time when Rick found out that Shane and Lori were sleeping together. That's kind of when their paths diverged, but. Here with Daryl, Daryl did kind of let something slip on the Talking Dead. He said, and he didn't specify who, but he said he's got a big brawl scene coming up. And he said the person who it's with, you wouldn't suspect. And that's why I'm thinking that it's Rick. Chris Hardwick instantly deflected. He's like, it's Carl, isn't it? And he's, trying to throw some heat off of it. But no, he slipped up. He slipped up bad. So I feel like it's going to come down to the way, him and Shane had that brawl in the field, except I don't think it's going to lead to either of them dying.
No, I don't think so either.
I think it's a parallel of Shane. I really do, though.
It's gonna be like They Live, and the two main characters just fight for no reason for like 20 minutes. So, okay, we're good now. Yeah.
And I mean, Shane had a lot of things wrong with him at that moment than just disagreeing with Rick. So that's why death was the only way that could have ended.
Yeah, but we also don't know exactly what's going through Daryl's head because he was held prisoner, made to listen to Easy Street for days upon days upon days.
The worst kind of torture.
And he was fed like dog food, and
it can't be beat.
He also saw evidence of the fact that they had other captives.
Here,
in that compound.
This facility.
I mean, in his eyes, it's like, all right, just I don't like what the fuck are we doing? But what I was gonna say is, I think Rick's changing heart. We see more evidence of that because he's taking photos of what's going on. Clearly, he wants to.
All are.
Okay, but anyway, they're taking photos. Doesn't really matter. Point still stands. They're taking photos because they want to preserve the history more. I think they want to be able to tell this story to future generations. Is like, do not let this happen ever again. Like, do not let someone like this take over. Like, this is the battle of the blah 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 that they'll be telling stories in 20 years about. Like, so Rick is, and we know this also from his talks with Michonne last season of like, I don't, like I have to like fight for the future. Like I'm fighting for my kids. Like this isn't about me anymore. If I die, I die. But I need to know that my kids the world will go on without me is basically what he's looking at now. And that's why he's, giving peace a chance, man. Maybe not as hardcore as Jesus, but I think his mindset, he's in a different headspace than Daryl. Daryl's just on a revenge spree.
And they had Rick was taking the pictures with their group, and then one guy who I don't know who it was at the satellite station was taking pictures. I think they want to use, of course, for the future, but I think they want to use more immediately to show the normal people at Sanctuary what's going on. Like, sort of as they probably know he's a douchebag.
Yeah, but they're taking pictures of their victories, so like that's not going to prove that anything about Negan being bad. They know. What it's going to prove is, if anything, it's leverage. Like, look what we can do. Understand this. Would you like to come join? If not, would you like to meet Daryl? Because that's your other option. Or Morgan. Morgan's the choice C, as a matter of fact. Oh my God. His stick sharp.
Let's on that vein, let's change gears. With that Jesus and the Morgan group.
Felt like Obi-Wan and Anakin fighting.
Which one was Anakin?
Tara.
Anyway,
it was Padme. I figured it out.
They picked like the most vulnerable way to transport these guys. At the end of last episode, I'm like, oh, they have a truck, no problem. Shove everybody in a truck. Let's go. No, everybody's tied to each other. They're walking down the highway. I'm like, okay, let's list the ways this can go bad.
We don't execute people.
It's
not the right thing to do.
Jesus and Morgan are walking less than a foot away from their prisoners, having a philosophical debate. And, like, normally I like that kind of shit.
Not the time or the place.
Exactly. No. You don't want to be having a philosophical debate right next to the people you're having a philosophical debate about.
I will say my favorite scene of this episode was just watching the walkers roll down the hill.
That was so funny.
oh, it wasn't even just them rolling down the hill. It's the way you see everybody's reaction, like such a horrible thing is happening off screen, and then it cuts, and they're like,
Whee!
it was just so funny.
Well, I mean, like, I can imagine the horror from them because
Of course.
they have to aim their guns at their head. When they're rolling downhill at that speed, they don't have that luxury, and they're basically falling at their feet. So they're not falling very far from them, which makes that way more terrifying to actually be there. From a viewer sitting in the luxury of my own home without any immediate danger to myself, hysterical.
Hilarious.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
But I think our reactions would have been completely matching theirs had we had been there.
Oh, absolutely.
All
right, I would have laughed a little.
At the first one. At the first one, I mean, come on. Before you know it's gonna be bad, you see one roll down the hill. It's like, that's funny.
See, I'm a prick. I would have thrown the prisoners at them first, and then just fucking dealt with. Oh, sorry, Jesus, they're up. See, I got them killed.
Yeah, they ran away. I'm kind of with Morgan. Like, he should have gotten a few more shots off before Jesus stopped him.
Right, they ran. They're dead.
Yeah.
Like, we're not talking about this anymore. Yeah.
And especially that one that was rubbing the death of the kid into Morgan's face, like for wearing his armor. The long-haired guy,
still alive. I can't believe he wasn't the one he shot off the line.
Well, he went to shoot for him, I think, but the other guy was in front of him, and Jesus stopped him, so yeah.
Yeah. And then they just start fighting each other. Jesus with like his ninja kicks and Morgan with his staff.
It was Donatello versus Raphael.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Because they just got attacked by walkers. And they're having this fight, and you don't see the prisoners. Like, you don't see them anymore in any of the shots in that sequence.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, where are they? They don't address that either. They just disappear. I'm like, did you take them back to the road? Would you like to tell me what you did with them?
I wasn't too concerned with them going anywhere, because Morgan did shoot one of them, so they would literally have to drag him.
But then I thought Walker's got one of the guys in the middle of that line, and yet they still ran away.
No, I think it was
one of the line?
I think it was one of the adjacent lines, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
It was very odd, because I was like, can we go back to that escaping prisoners thing?
Yeah, can we like address that even a little bit?
Yeah, no, but Morgan shot one in like the dead center of the line, so for them to drag him through there, it would have been a lot more effort than.
I think we were led to think that, the other rest of the crew just walked over and was like, okay, don't run anymore, please.
Yeah.
Please
and thank you. But like, even when they got back, their plan of like, well, okay, so I'll put them in these trailers, and then
we'll lock them up in 2 trailers. It's like
that's inhumane. Number one, and number two, it's a really stupid idea, because when they get out and attack somebody, it's all your fault, man.
It's a waste of resources. I really hate to say that, but it's a waste of their resources. It's a waste of their time.
Yeah.
Actually,
it's such a big risk.
You know what you gotta be a real fucking sicko about it. Just like, you gotta go Joffrey on it. You kill one at the end of the line, but you don't stab him in the head, and then just make him sit out in the yard for a little while till he turns, and then we play the game of who wants to talk first, because we got nothing but time.
Well,
and then
that Jesus wouldn't like that.
I would adore that.
Yeah.
But again, I'm a sick fuck, but...
No, just put a knife in every one of their heads.
You don't kill the one that's in the back of the line. You kill the one that's the front of the line.
Oh, yeah, that's smart.
So then they have to run backwards.
Yeah.
They get back to the hilltop, and Maggie's got his decision to make. because they're at the gate, and it's like, Jesus, you have now given Maggie an awful decision to make.
Well, not only that, Maggie just had to deal with the decision before that.
Yeah, like
yeah, Gregory, the fuck nut.
Yeah.
Why has no one put a bullet in his head yet? I'm really missing
Lock him up. I would have invited him in, given him a nice meal, and then locked him up.
Yep.
See, locking up one person is manageable. That's not that much of a strain on your resources.
Mm-hmm.
Locking up 24 people, that's more than 24 people. How many people were in that line?
I mean,
it's got to be
quite a few, at least a dozen.
Yeah.
I'd say. I mean, I don't know.
Lost a couple, so maybe it's like 12 or something.
Yeah. It was a good chunk of dudes, for sure. I don't... Like, my problem with the whole thing is Jesus doesn't have a plan.
Yeah. He's like,
just was flying by the seat of his pants.
It's like, we can't do this. We could lock him up in trailers. We got a bunch of those in the back. And
he was making that up. He was just making it up as he went along. So it's like, what were you going to do?
He was hoping Maggie was just going to blindly take them in. That's what he was hoping.
Yeah.
He was probably also hoping Maggie would do the hard thinking for him.
Yeah.
Because he clearly didn't give it any thought.
No.
Besides, we can't kill them.
And I really liked Jesus up until this episode. Like, this episode, you know, it's like, why did I like Jesus?
I don't know why all of a sudden he's just like this. It's just so weird.
I think it's the situation.
I think
they
it's the
surrendered.
name.
And he couldn't do it.
Oh, imagine Daryl wrestles Jesus instead of Rick.
That was actually, when we were talking about it earlier, I was going to mention Jesus, but I was like, no, that's silly. He just fought Morgan.
Nah, they got to wrestle.
Yeah. Although I would like to see Jesus fight Daryl. I think that would be very interesting.
It would.
Two very different fighting styles.
Oh, yeah. You have the more defensive, technical versus the more brutal, in-your-face brawler style.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'd appreciate that fight. But who knows?
And the last thing to talk about is Ezekiel. They executed a brilliant plan. They didn't lose anybody.
Not a single person.
Not a single person.
Until they did.
Until a Gatling gun got shoved out of a window and they lost a lot of people.
Or a lot of red shirts died.
At least minimum of 3, and they all dove toward the king.
Yeah, 5 of them jumped on top of him, and it looked like most of them got shot in pretty vital areas.
Yeah.
They're toast.
Oh.
This is gonna fuck him up.
Blood
this is gonna mess with his head.
If he didn't even take a single bullet from that, I'd be surprised, to be honest. I
honestly don't think he took a bullet.
I think he may have, but in a non-vital area.
In, like, arm.
Yeah.
As long as Katie Cat's okay, I don't really give a shit about these red shirts.
Realistically, if you put 5 people in a single file line and fired a Gatling gun, that 5th person is still going to get hit by the bullet.
Yeah.
So, for them to dive in front of the king like that, they dove, sideways, not stacked. Like, if the king is here, they dove like this and not like this. So, even if they were like this, the king still would have got hit, by
but that Gatling gun is pretty far away.
It's not that far. It's not that far.
Anyway, I don't. It's been a while since The Walking Dead's adhered to any really kind of logic. So
yeah, I don't know.
Well,
I feel like he took a hit. I feel like he did.
He might have. Yeah, at this point, it was just sort of like I don't know, kind of like a chess maneuver. It's like castle him quickly.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah. Protect the king.
To the side. As long as Jerry wasn't in that pile, I don't really give a shit what happens.
No, I'm nervous for Jerry.
Oh, I didn't even consider that. Oh, I need to go back and watch that now.
I don't remember where he was before the bullets started raining down, so he might have been off to the side. And we know Carol wasn't there.
Yeah.
So at least she's okay. But I don't think Shiva was there either, so she should be fine.
Yeah, it didn't look it.
Yeah, so. I know they're going to kill that fucking cat, because they're just assholes like that.
And she's expensive.
Yeah.
Alright, I mean, next episode, I really got to give, like, some props to the writers, because this is such a unique and interesting title for an episode. It's called Some Guy.
Okay.
I was being sarcastic. Anyway, a new weapon in the Savior arsenal proves to be a giant hurdle as fighting continues between Rick's forces and those of the Saviors. So
They got a Gundam.
no, I think it's the big gun that they're currently shooting Ezekiel with.
I'm pretty sure it's a Gundam.
If
That sounds
only. You know, at this point, I'm just Walking Dead. Jump the shark. Do it for me.
Just turn into a giant robot fighting show instead of zombies.
Yeah, exactly.
Do it. Make it happen.
It's gonna turn into. Attack on Titan. Can I get my giant Rat King zombie finally? Just a bunch of zombies.
I really want that to happen.
Huh?
I really want that to happen.
I know.
Like, I want the next villain to be a mad scientist who just stitches them like together like an abomination in Warcraft, and it's just what we do. And he's got a meat hook.
It'd be
And
crazy.
I would want that.
And like as as big as that horde was in the last season of Fear of the Walking Dead, I seriously thought it was going to be a Rat King zombie.
Mm.
But it just ended up being a horde, and I was slightly disappointed. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, Morgan seems like he's reverting to season 1 Morgan almost.
No, he's reverting to without his child.
Well, yeah. Okay, so what's that?
Yeah.
Season 2 Morgan?
Crazy
then?
Man in the Woods Morgan.
Yeah.
I thought that was like the end. No, I keep forgetting season 1 was only 6 episodes. So I think that was season 2. But yeah.
Oh yes, right in the tower, just
Yeah.
killing off the zombies.
Yeah.
And he even said, like, I'm not wrong, but it doesn't. Oh no, not right, but it doesn't mean I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Which just reminded me of Your Love,
Of what?
the song from the outfield.
Hmm.
There's a line in the song that says, "Just because you're right, that don't mean I'm wrong."
Mm-hmm.
So I thought of that instead of watching the show.
Just play the song in your head instead of paying attention to the song to the show.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know what exactly he meant by that, but I was like, okay. And then he's like, I have to leave. It was, all right, man.
Well, I think he knows he's not right in thinking that it's not the right thing to do to just execute these people.
Sure.
But he's not wrong that they should execute all those people.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
the risk is too high to do otherwise. And they're going to do otherwise. And, we're going to see what happens when risky business.
Yeah.
It was a sentence I crafted in English.
Good job.
Thank you.
You are so smart, SMRT.
SMRT smart. Yeah, I mean that's all I have to say about this episode.
Yeah, I'm hoping now that, some of the battles are dying down and all that. The big compound fight is over. Like with Aaron and whatever his name is, like that.
Eric.
That whole battle there is over with, because he wouldn't have ran back to the tree. So we know that fight's done. The Rick and Daryl thing seems to be done. And all that's left now is what's going on with Ezekiel. Because even Jesus' team is back. So we only have one more team in
the field.
In the field with bullet fire. So I think that aspect is done. So moving on next week, I think we finally get back to some of our old ways, and we'll see.
I hope so.
These last 3 episodes have really made me think about all the promotion for this season. And all the promotion, the tagline is all out war, and all I can think of is this is the whole fucking season.
Yeah, I don't think it is.
I hope not.
Yeah.
I did forget to mention when we were talking about Morales, that I feel like his contribution, the real contribution, was to give us the information that Negan doesn't want the King, the Widow, or Rick to be killed unless it's absolutely necessary.
Yeah.
He wants them taken alive. So I feel like that's the reason. That's the one thing he had to contribute was that bit of information for us.
And I mean, it's been 2 episodes now, but I want us to go back to Negan because I want to know what happened to.
What terrible things is he doing to Father Gabriel in that trailer?
Yeah, exactly.
He's just screaming, "Poop your pants!" Just no, what? No. Do people do that when you ask them to? Yeah, you don't answer that question.
You know what? I don't. Yeah,
I mean, one of Negan's men pissed himself for Negan. Basically.
Yeah.
So who knows? Maybe Negan expects his people to shit themselves for him. But on that note,
Tom, where can people find you?
You can find me down below at Phenomedom, PHENOMEDOM.
Phenomedom. John, where can they find you?
Just so you know, Clio, you have John doing this now in podcasts that you're not around for, like Gotham. He started doing it finally.
It just felt empty without it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
John, your turn.
You can find me at No More on Twitter.
You can find me at Cliomoto on Twitter and Twitch, and you can find all of us here at ASOTV Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Gmail, Google+, YouTube, and Twitch. Follow us for some more podcasts from some of your favorite TV shows, video games, and movies. Bye, guys.
Bye.
We'll do video games again one day.
One day.
It's still going to be in my outro. I'm not changing it.
No.